Welcome back to the Social View. Okay, so let's get into immigration. You know, here in Arizona, this is such a huge topic. I remember a few years ago when SB 1070 started, and I mean, all eyes were on Arizona and what was going on here, and it continues to be an issue that we deal with heavily.
That's right.
What are your thoughts on immigration?
Well, immigration is fine as long as it is immigration. But when we hear illegal immigration, the first word is illegal. So we cannot pick and choose which laws we would like to enforce. And so if it says illegal immigration, we have to enforce the law. And it's unfair to people who go through the process the right way. And so we have a president who has signed an executive order. And to me, that was all politics. And he could have done something meaningful. He could have had a meaningful debate in Congress and resolved the issue. But guess what? It's election time.
Right.
And you have a huge voting bloc of Latino voters that he has endeared himself to. But it is a short-sighted solution because the next president can come in and just get rid of it right away.
Right. And what is the solution, though? I mean, you have young individuals that are here. They were brought here. You know, it wasn't their doing. What do you think the solution looks like? How do we secure the border?
Yeah, securing the border is the first thing because you know what? It's just not about illegal immigration. It's about national security. Right now, anyone can walk across with a smart bomb, or and we're talking about trafficking, human trafficking, bringing people here and putting them in these homes and, you know, holding them for hostage, basically,
right,
and abusing women, abusing children. And so this country should not stand for it, but the border, it must be secured first before we talk about anything else, because we tried this before when we did not secure the border. And it is not about race. It is about national security, and it is about human dignity also.
Well, and you know, my great-great-grandparents immigrated here, and they did it the way that they were supposed to.
The right way,
right.
right.
The right way. I have to say, the topic makes me kind of crazy because I can see both sides of it. I look at the people that are here right now. I don't know what that solution looks like, and I wonder about the mothers that are sending their kids across the border. I wonder what their life is in Mexico and why that route seems the best. And I wonder if the solution isn't working with Mexico, and if that's something...
You just hit it right there. Look, they're our greatest trade partners, but we have to not necessarily help them, but we have to ensure that they have an environment where they want to keep their own people there, where they want to stay there. Like, for example, I think Volkswagen, they're putting a plant there to produce, I think, 150,000 cars per year, and it's going to cost Volkswagen $2 billion. So things like that, you know, to incentivize Mexico to take care of their own people.
You know, I saw on your Facebook page, I saw that you had commented on Brian Terry, and I know that, you know, we haven't had this conversation previously, but last year I was at the Brian Terry fundraiser, and I had the opportunity to meet the family. And given the fact that my birthday, December 15th, is the day that he lost his life, on, you know, securing our borders because of guns that should have never even been there. I want to hear what your thoughts are and what you think should be happening around that situation.
Well, Fast and Furious is, I think it's a disgrace, especially as, well, you met the family,
right,
and they lost someone, right, and now we have an administration that's covering up. And in D.C., the one thing that you should not do is try to cover up, because eventually things will be exposed. And so the Attorney General, he needs to come forth and say, these are all the documents that we have, and let's get right to the bottom of it, because I just think it's disgraceful, because if that were my child, I would just feel abhorrent. And you met with the family, and so I'm
They're
sure
such
that
good
pain
people.
is still
Yes.
there, that
They're-
anguish, and he's just doing his job to try to protect the border.
Yeah, they're such good people. You know, every December 15th, I hope that before this December 15th, I hope that there is some resolution around this. And I would love to see the government come forward and truly
Just
be
come clean.
transparent.
Exactly.
This was, okay, so we have Tommy, immigration employers. What is your question?
It's Tony. Hi, Christina. How
Hi.
are you?
Hi,
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Vernon?
Awesome.
I actually just had this conversation with my neighbor because the guys working on his home we were assuming they were illegal. And it's an assumption. But my question really is more about why did the policy of really going after the people not checking databases, employers specifically, because that seems to be an effective way to root out the people who are hiring the illegals and allowing them to be identity thieves and use fake socials. What do you have a plan in place to kind of hold Arizona employers accountable and kind of make them do what we had been told was going to happen, to check the database and to actually validate people before they hire them and then suffer the consequences if they don't?
That's a great question, Tony. And E-Verify is something that has been out there, and it must be used. Because if we don't, you are 100% correct. Identity theft, we have, hundreds of people using the same Social Security number, and E-Verify is one way that I think that it has been effective, and we will continue to come up with better ways than that, too.
Do you have anything in place to try to mandate it, though? Is there anything you're going to try to legislate to?
Well, yeah, we have to enforce employer sanctions, because if you don't use it, then I think that employer sanctions should be enforced, and because look, when we don't do it, we're taking jobs away from Americans. We're taking jobs away from people who are here the right way, and I just think it is not a good thing for employers to circumvent the system, and so if they don't have it, then I think that the sanctions should be severe, and that they will continue to be severe.
Thank you for the.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. That was a very good question.
Thanks.
So, with E-Verify, if a person is using a fraudulent identification, E-Verify wouldn't be able to catch that, or would it?
It should be able to.
It should be able
Absolutely.
to. Okay.
Yeah, and because, like, for example, you have some Social Security numbers is probably being used by 50 people,
Right.
and so E-Verify should
So
be
if
able to.
50 different Social
Exactly.
Security numbers are going in, okay, that makes sense. Thank you for clarifying that. Now, what about the people that are here, that are working? Would you be in favor of work permits for them? Would you?
Until we secure the border, I just think that that's a moot discussion for me personally, because first of all, you have to come to this country the right way, and I just illegal immigration. The first word is illegal, and I think the first thing that we have to do is to secure the border. If we don't do that, then the problem will continue. We'll have more and more people. They'll say, okay, well, let me just continue, because if I do it this way, then they will forgive me, and I can just jump in line ahead of the people who are trying to do it the right way. And so we have to secure the border first to stop the illegal crossings first.
And it's interesting that we get bashed almost for enforcing
Exactly.
what is a law.
America is the only place where if you secure the border, then you're called a racist. If you want to secure the border, then every country secures its border. Mexico secures its border. I mean, believe me. But when we do it,
I think racist is thrown out when people don't have a strong argument. I think that's just, I got nothing better.
Right, and we're seeing it right now in the presidential election. The whole race thing is going to be thrown out there, class warfare. But let's get back to doing something meaningful for the American people. We are all Americans. I don't care what color, and let's talk about the future. What country are we going to leave for future generations? This is not about class warfare either. We have a president who wants to have a class warfare. And so, let's just bring it back to the American people. It's not about an elephant. It's not about a donkey. It should be about the American people.
Right. And I think ultimately we all do want the same thing. We want our families to thrive. We want to personally thrive. Once you are in Congress, will you come back on the Social View?
Absolutely. And you all who are out there listening, you can visit the website at vernonparker.com. And you'll see what we stand for. And this was a great time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
The time just flew.
It does. It goes by so fast. So if you were listening to the show and you missed any part of it, I know some of you were in and out of your cars, running errands. This entire show will be on the Social View, so you can share that with your friends, families, neighbors, have conversations about Vernon Parker. And good luck with the phone bank. Good luck with the campaign.
Going door to door, knocking, because we're going to knock our way back to Washington, D.C., and we're going to get our country back in shape.
I love it, and that's what it's all about. I'm Christina Wagner, and this has been The Social View with Vernon Parker. Next week, we will be talking about more social media. We're going to talk more about some of the technology and tools. If you missed the workshop today, go to The Social View and be sure to like the event for next month. And it's over.
I can't believe it.
I know. This hour has gone by really, really fast. Thanks for listening, and tune in next time. The Social View is about what you're liking, talking, commenting about, and if we're not talking about it here, and if we're not talking about it on the page, have a conversation. Let me know what you would like to talk about on The Social View. I'm Christina Wagner.
NBC 1260 is KBSZ, Apache Junction.
Also operates on translator K241BQ at 96.1 FM.
NBC News Radio, I'm Richard Louie. GOP Vice Presidential hopeful Paul Ryan spoke to an audience of seniors in Florida today. NBC's Ron Mott is covering.
He says that the president has raided this Medicare program to pay for the Affordable Care Act, which the Republicans like to call Obamacare, to the tune of $716 billion. And so the crowd obviously moaned and groaned when they heard those numbers. And he also wanted to reassure the seniors who are currently in the program and those who may become eligible over the next decade or so, that the benefits that as currently prescribed will not change.
President Obama is campaigning in New Hampshire. Mr. Obama criticized his Republican challenger, saying Mitt Romney and running mate Paul Ryan would change Medicare so that seniors would pay more so that wealthy taxpayers can get a tax break. The U.S. Senate is considering a bill that would, for the first time, help wounded vets no longer on active duty with in vitro fertilization coverage to start families. The procedure is lengthy and costly, but supporters say it's an important issue that has not been addressed. This is NBC News Radio. The New York Department of Corrections will hold a parole hearing as early as Tuesday for David Mark Chapman, who shot and killed Beatle John Lennon. This will be Chapman's 7th parole hearing. Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi will visit Iran at the end of the month. Egypt and Iran have been on the outs since Egypt signed a peace deal with Israel in 1979. The visit could mark a thaw in relations between the two countries. At least 6 people have died and 100 others have been sickened by pickles tainted with E. coli bacteria in northern Japan. Health officials say the pickled Chinese cabbage was made by 2 local producers. The Chinese cabbage is a popular side dish in Japan, and the deaths have shocked the nation. Christie's auction house is going digital. CNBC's Tyler Matheson reports.
It's trying something new. Its first ever online only